welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm JT. Tonight we're on iRacing for the Pagnian Imports Kia Optima Championship. Tonight is the final round that sees us at WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. It's going to be a great way to see out this short 4-round series in the Kia Optimus. At Laguna Seca, the session is 10 minutes of practice. Weather conditions are clear. There's 10 minutes of qualifying and the race is 40 minutes. Cars are capped at 47% fuel, so they're going to need to take a pit stop or two to actually get the car home. It is standing starts with restarts being single file with lap cars to the back. Coming into the final round, we have Cameron Veacock leading the championship on a nice 419 points. Stephen Banks falling in behind with 343. So will that be enough gap for Veacock to claim the win tonight? And then for round 3, we were at Summit Point Raceway in the short course. Stephen Banks, after qualifying third, went on to take the win, and we saw Cameron Veacock take the fastest lap bonus points. We'll jump over and check out the track. Already got a bunch of drivers loaded up into the session. So for Laguna Seca, it is 3.57 kilometers and is a very technical track, yet still very fast. So we'll jump over and see how our drivers are faring in the practice session at the moment. There's just under 5 minutes left to go. If you're joining us for the stream, jump in the chat, say hello. Don't forget to hit that follow button as well if you haven't done so. So we're here Monday nights on iRacing, and then also Project Cars 2 on Thursday nights. We've got the final round of the Mustang Frere 2R Cup this Thursday night. That's going to be a great one to check out. And here is our championship leader, Cameron Veacock. While viewing the stream, you should also notice that there's some sound effects controls down underneath. That way you can play a variety of fun sound effects and show your support to the drivers as they're going about the race. So you can give them an applaud or two for some fantastic passes. We've got 18 drivers loading up for the session at the moment. Oh, a little bit fun this year going on for the drivers here. We're seeing some very quick times. So expecting around the 130s. Veacock's done a 129.994, so just scraping in under that margin. Also, very technical section of the track, just getting your way out of pit lane. I mean, quite a mission, especially in this Kia Optima. It does not want to turn. As you can see, Banks trying to pull that car right around. Steering arc, not too nice. Especially if you've rolled down that hill with a little bit of pace. And that corner sharpens up very quickly. Drecky. Looks like Drecky flying the Apex car as well. Lucas Burt. Dan Bartosh seems to have gotten a nice run coming down for turn 1. Very hard hairpin. Always gets very interesting at the start of the race, trying to find that track position, because you do get up to a fair bit of pace off the grid and then coming down into that hairpin after the hill. It's usually a high incident corner, and of course the infamous corkscrew. And I did do some laps in the Kia with some of the guys the other night. Coming into there, trying to just get it to turn in at that right angle, and you get a lot of low visibility over the nose of that car, so you basically don't see your line, you just got to pick it out and then dive for it. Winrow currently parked up. Charlie, thanks for jumping on the stream. Gander in pit lane at the moment as well. Gallen's done a 32.3. He's the first of the drivers to get into the 32s. Cochrane getting into the 31s. Those positions 2 through to 6, all in the 1 minute 30s. In the slow end of the 130 region. And Damien Cross jumps in with a 130 also. Patterson having a spectacular crash last week at Summit after coming down into the corner and a car out of control with no ability to pull the car up and a big hit. Hopefully some better luck for him tonight, as both drivers involved in that were running pretty good up the top end. A very unfortunate incident. Drivers now just 10 minutes to qualify. There's championship points on the line, 25 points up for grab for pole. We see Veacock land another 129. Hopefully I've cast through all our drivers as well. 19 in the session. It's going to be looking to be a fantastic race around Laguna Seca. If there's a car ahead of Veacock at the moment, he might have been the first to have gotten out on the track. There's a good amount of space out ahead of him. I'm going to jump on board for a hot lap. Hopefully we don't give you the commentator's curse. Let's get nice and wide onto that concrete to get the optimum line for this double apex hairpin. Very cautious not to get out too wide on that exit curb. Only tiniest bit of tyre will cost an off track and it becomes very sketchy. Possibly put that car into a spin. And normally most cars, a tap of the brake and you can usually throw that car into that right hander and then go under throttle and aim for that sausage curb. The understeering this car makes it a very different approach than the front wheel drive. The car doesn't lose too much power on the uphill section. The car is reasonably torquey. And then on approach now into the corkscrew, bring it as far wide as possible. And you can see there's not a whole lot of view there. We're actually sitting a lot higher than the driver is. And we'll get more of a natural driver's eye view in a moment, just to show that poor visibility that you get trying to look over the dash and bonnet of this Kia Optima. Oh, that's a very quick first time. It's a 1 minute 30. I'm just clicking through onto the wrong things. We'll try and jump in and just have a look at actual cockpit view for the driver. It can be a little bit different as they can adjust their seat height. You can see, you can't even notice the bonnet. You essentially see that dash and then straight up into the wipers. So when you come up into the corkscrew, you are going into it blind. And that lap, we're on for Veacock. Almost say 130 flat. That does currently set pole. practice session, I think their second quickest time was a 1:30.5. We're starting to see more quicker times. Banks getting in a 1:30.2. Track conditions have warmed slightly. Ambient temperature is still 23 degrees, but that track temp's gone up a couple degrees. Urquhart's sitting for third at the moment. So our first four drivers in with 1:30s for their first timed laps. 12th through to 19th. Yet to get a time on the board. Bert's just had an off track. Schooler getting a nice little two-car tow, and I think that's even Hodgkinson in behind in that train of cars. Schooler moves aside. Gander carrying a good amount of speed. A little bit of slip, but he gets under control. The thing is, at least you can actually power out of the slides. Not sure if he's taken some damage or if that's just black painting on those on the guards of the wheel. It did look like he may have been missing that front right. Only 4 drivers. Actually, sorry, 5 drivers to get time on the board. Beacock's made a big improvement on that pole time, 1:29.4. He's furthering his gap from what he's set in the practice. Ooh, must have been Tucker actually just bringing the car back in the pits. It almost looked like it was a blink out as I tried to cross over to him. Is there an improvement for time? It was slightly slower for Cochrane. Patterson's setting a 1:31.5. Jarecki and Brennan yet to get a time. Just had a couple more drivers move on up through. Hodgkinson now getting a time. There's 2.5 minutes left to qualifying. Movement up the top end. I'm not sure if that was trying to avoid contact the car behind. I think that was Bartish. He might have just been holding back a little bit, trying to put some space so you can try and line up a good hot lap coming up. It's going to be close to only about one more lap of qualifying to fit in. There's only 1:40 left on the clock. So these drivers on approach to that control line now, probably going to be able to squeeze in at least another lap after. Beacock's brought the car in, so that's set him for qualifying. So I have to be content with his 29.4. Banks also in. He's done a 1:30.2. Tucker's is finishing up that qualifying run now as well. This will be final lap for Urquhart. Peacock is actually heading back out on track for some practice. So he's probably loaded up that race setup just to get in a quick lap to try out, ready for the race start. And it may be interesting just to see how we go for the grid start. Peacock's had some fantastic launches, and he did give out his secret during the interview at the end of the race last week. That was advising about using the secondary brake button. Be interesting just to see if any other drivers use that. If we see all the cars actually get off to a ripper of a start, that's going to make things very interesting coming down to that hairpin then. And it's qualifying complete. Oh, a lot of curb by Cochrane. Doesn't really unsettle the car, it slams down. He's pushing a lot of pace in for this final lap. Improvement on his time. Brand's parked up. Not sure where Bird is. Going practicing pit entry. It is crucial to know where that pit entry point is, where your speed limit markers are, because every bit of time you can save on that journey down pit lane can mean a whole lot in that race. We've seen a lot of races just come down just to those extra few seconds in the pits. He finishes up a lap. Gets it, yes, he gets a time on the board. That just sees him not setting a time, and then moving up into P5. And I think that seems to be all our drivers. So hopefully we can get over and check out these results before it boots us for the session. In the final round of the Kia Optima Championship, Cameron Veacock takes pole position. And the rest of the grid, we see Blake Urquhart, Stephen Banks, Sam Tucker, Adam Jarecki, Damien Cross, Mark Cochrane, Jason Schooler. Oh, and a little bit of movement. Oliver Patterson, Dan Bartosh. So we did have one driver actually still running. Callan Hodgkinson, Michael Brennan, Lucas Burt, John Gallen, Shane Patterson, Daniel Winrow, Philip Buckland, Dave Jansen, and Russell Gander. So back over to the track now. See Barney waving that flag still. No cars left out on the track. Cars now gridding up. We're going to be able to get a fantastic view for the start of the race. It's just decided to change that camera angle on it, so it's turning. There we go, it's much better. So just waiting on about 4 drivers to hit that grid button. They do have just over 50 seconds ready. Hey D-Train, thanks for jumping in. Good to see you. So we've just got Veacock, Urquhart and Hodgkinson ready to grid up. be underway for green light for our final round of the Pagnian Imports Kia Optima Championship. It's been a spectacular series. These Kias have managed to put on a great show. There we go, green flag about to come up.
Green.
There we are, green light and away we go. Looks like a pretty good start for most drivers, but Vcock still gets that fantastic launch. Already putting on massive gain, which is very nice for turn one. Avoids all the traffic build-up. Oh, it looks like some movement. Hodgkinson has just gained a few positions, so he's just made a good run after the hairpin. A few cars still too wide. Gallen's not wanting to let Hodgkinson through, but I think Gallen's far enough ahead actually. No, he's actually just snuck in. Gallen's still going to have another go. I think he's going to have a good advantage for an inside line pass up here. Vcock flying ahead. Look at this, I think Durecki's looking to go for a move. And very gutsy to try and contemplate doing that just before the corkscrew as well. So being offline coming down into that area is going to end in disaster. Nate Simo, thanks for jumping on the stream. And yes, we do have some of the Apex cars running. Even Durecki just jumping in and ending up throwing my paint job on, so big thank you to Durecki for doing that as well. Urquhart seems to be dropping back from Vcock. That first lap was a 135.2 by Vcock. Urquhart doing a 137.7. He's also managing to be able to pull away from position 3 and 4. Tucker's feeling some big pressure from Durecki. Hey Jurassic Jam, thanks for jumping on. And had a fantastic weekend as well. Hope you did as well, mate. Oh, fair bit of tyre squeal going on from the understeer of these Kias. Taking that very fast left-hander. Thrashing these things around Laguna Seca. Nice amount of turn in at entry to the corkscrew for Vcock. It may look like that gap's teetering a little bit for Urquhart now. He may be able to close in on Vcock. Looks like a very nice clean start. He's having a lap 2 now done and dusted. There's only been a few off tracks by the looks of things. So no car contact. Oh, Cochrane makes a move on. Gets up a spot, managed to get around Banks. And can he hold on and try and maintain that momentum and try and claim that position back? Durecki's starting to probe those mirrors, making his presence known to Tucker. School up and try and move on up. Banks has taken that position back from Cochrane. Cochrane's swarmed by KFC Century Motorsports cars at the moment. There's nothing slowing down Vcock. That previous lap at 129.4. So he's even blitzing these times essentially from practice and qualifying. Also running out from the front. That's good. Nice. So, oh no, Jansen's... I'm not sure if that's a tow for he's decided to come in for something. Not seeing any contact or an off for Jansen. However, if he started the race and ended up loading incorrect setup for the car and's gone out there for qualifying setup, I could see that he's had to come in and grab some fuel. Some drivers have been caught out with that. He's having to make that extra pit stop. So they've only usually got a few laps of fuel thrown in the car. And Urquhart also pulling away. He's still teetering on that gap. It's been budging from about 2 seconds out to 2.2. He's also pretty much on par, actually. Exact same previous lap time as Vcock at 129.900 for both Vcock and Urquhart. It's not often you'll see an exact time. So that's why we're not seeing that gap between the two really change much. They're going to be keeping that consistent pace. It's going to stay around that gap. It's going to take a mistake once they start catching up to some traffic. Jansen, after that pit stop, now back out, so he's currently running 19th. Looks like he's entered out, I think around, he's just behind Tucker. So he's not out in front of the race leaders. Jansen's had some good pace still, but he will be shown the blue flag, so he will have to try and find a nice spot to let the traffic through. There may even be some good conservation going on for some fuel with these guys if he can keep the pace for them. Oh, he runs off wide trying to let them through. Bert's just come out of the pits as well. Still not seeing anything showing for car contacts. Vcock now on approach to some slower traffic now. A few little lag spikes in the server as well. I do hope that we don't get any netcode causing any dramas for drivers. Another driver down pit lane. That's a second journey in there for Lucas Burt. Not sure if he's taken some damage potentially. Had to come in for use of one of the fast repairs. Things have slowed up Veacock just a bit. That gap's gotten down to 1.3 now. Urquhart within range to start feeling a little bit of that slipstream from Veacock. If he can maintain that pace, he's going to be able to start seeing a bit of speed advantage and close in. School and Cochrane still battling it out. School even probing at the corkscrew. School's carrying a heap of pace. I think he's may be able to have an advantage to try and make a move and get this position from Cochrane. He's nosed in. He's on the outside for this very sharp left-hander. He's definitely going to have a good run, and I think Cross may even be able to sneak in. No, he's going to be too far back to take advantage of it. Cochrane's going to be able to hold that racing line. He takes a much more shallow approach. I think Cross may be able to carry the pace and get him in these next couple. Patterson's about 4 seconds away from the car ahead. That's Dan Bartish. Just under a second away is Hodgkinson. He's currently about a 1.5 second quicker a lap. I could see Patterson seeing Hodgkinson in that mirror very quickly. School starting to pull away a fair bit from Cochrane after that pass. That's going to put Cochrane in a bit of trouble from Cross here because he's carrying a lot of speed. Goes for inside pass through the final turn. So he was able to get enough clearance to be able to cut through to that corner exit. He did drop a fair bit of speed to be able to do that, so it's going to put him at a disadvantage here. I think Cochrane's going to go for a pass. Damien blocks that line. Drecky seems to be getting away from Tucker. Urquhart's lost that gap. He started to have that advantage to Veacock. I think he may have had an off-track moment over the course of that lap. So I'm not getting any data for his previous lap, so it seems to be invalidated. It's our championship leader, Veacock, leading the race. We're on lap 8. He's led for the 8. And already put on a massive 2 second gap essentially over the first lap. Oh, some slide for Buckland. Can he save the car? Some more contact, but it was a fairly even hit to the side. He was starting to close in on Patterson. It's going to be giving him a bit of room now. I think that's Jansen in behind him. Jansen is a lap down. We also have Lucas Burt 2 laps down at the moment. He's had to make 2 trips into pit lane. Still have a few close gaps throughout the field. Gallen and Brennan sitting around a second gap. They are very similarly paced at the moment, only a difference of just under a tenth. Ooh, that's a big blink from Brennan as well. Allen does start to close in, but he's going to have to make sure that he gives a little bit more room. Just in case that car blinks out for a good amount of time and suddenly reappears where he's going for. So you just got to kind of anticipate that they are hitting their racing line. Cochrane's had cross past him. He's put on a fair bit of gap already. There may have been a mistake done by Cochrane. So the three were holding reasonably close, but I think Cross has got a bit more pace than Schooler at the moment. He's going to be taking on a teammate here. And these guys don't hold any assistance to each other. They still get the elbows out for each other and give them a good battle. Tucker's got Banks quickly closing in now. Tucker seems to be dropping a fair bit of pace. He was well off the previous lap and then off again. I'm not sure if that car's starting to give him a little bit of grief as we're approaching that halfway point. Oh, that is very close. He only just tucks back in. Banks right on the tail. Oh, that's wrong direction that we want to be looking. I was looking at the rear of Stephen Banks' car, so down onto the nose. Oh no, he's dived. I think that's a touch. Weight of the camera shifting that car off a little bit. Bring a bit of the old Apex commentator's curse. I think it may have even been similar to what Tucker is actually probably dealing with. That's around this point. The car is a little bit flighty. And we've got a car heading on into the pits. Veacock stays out on track. Dracky is also opts to stay out. And there definitely was contact coming up between Banks and Tucker. So that's the first time that my app has actually registered any car contact in the race. So that's fantastic. Both managed to continue racing on. And we're now 12 laps into the race. Veacock having led for the entirety of that. And it is a very long pit journey as well. So we'll be seeing much longer pit stops. We're probably seeing around the 40-second mark on average to be able to load the car up with fuel. And then the extra time just on that in and out at Laguna Seca. And trying to make up as much time as you can on that pit exit. Very daunting as it is pretty much a goat track. Peacock still out, really enjoying that open track at the moment. He's getting all that clean air. He's going to really be able to push in some decent lap time, especially now it's starting to get on the low side of fuel. Drecky pitting in. Bartosz in behind as well. And the first of our race leaders to dive down pit lane was Urquhart. He came out in position 17 after entering in at P2. Looks like he's just gotten around Jansen. Been shown blue flag. Urquhart's current position from race lead, 1:10. That just shows you how long that journey is down pit lane for him to only be a few seconds away from Peacock before pitting. And in comes Peacock. Banks and Tucker both peeling off. On massive cars, so they are pushing these cars probably out to the limit of the fuel here. Oh, looking for their pit bay. It'd be great if we could actually see their pit crews. Sees Hodgkinson move up into race lead. Oh, I think there's just been a hit. It sounded like a screech and then a bang into a wall. There may have been something going on in pit lane. So there's some contact there to Patterson, and did come up that an incident occurred for him. Not contact with any other car. You may have misjudged that pit exit. Phil Buckland now pitting in. That's only leaving Russell Gander and Callan Hodgkinson to have to pit in. Plus some of our early stops as well. Lucas Burton and Jansen may have to come back in. So they did pit very early, so they're not going to be carrying enough fuel just yet to be able to last out the race. There's 17 minutes left to it. We're on lap 14. So it's probably going to be another 11 laps left to the race. Hodgkinson making that journey now. Oh, big slide. Put that car down through the corkscrew for Gander. But it holds out. And Full Throttle Racing sporting Veterans Gamers logo on the side as well. That's great to see. We did do some charity fundraising through our series over the time that Anzac Day was on. So they are a great cause to get behind and support. So hopefully we can look to do some more fundraising for those guys in the future. Peacock maintains the lead. Similar gap now that he's been in and pit. He's got 2.8 seconds over Urquhart. It was around the 3-second mark for Urquhart first pit in. That saw him drop down into the 17th when he come back out on track. So both returning to their held positions beforehand. Now that all drivers have been in and pit. Banks in P3. Drecky P4. Scully in P5. A bit further behind now is Damien Cross in 6. Looks like some contact. Not sure if it was another driver. It was unknown in my register, but definitely some car contact. Might have a look to see what went on. No, just whiff wall contact. So a little bit of the wheel off on the side. That's might have what happened earlier on, actually. And we heard the crunch around the pit lane. Not sure if that was, you know, actually was a second pit journey. So you might have had to tend to some repairs on the time before. A little bit loose, the car behind. I think that was Gallant. It's currently 16th. Veacock's just gotten around, so the blue flag shown to Gallant. And buckling up ahead, and I think that may be Patterson. Behind is Shane Patterson. Starting to see a little bit of spacing going on. And it looks like our first pitters have been in and grabbed that fuel. But making the third journey, just get that fuel to get the car home. And hey, Mick, didn't notice it in the chat, sorry. I couldn't read the red on my background there. You were first to jump in the chat, actually, so I do apologise for missing you there, Mick. Thanks for joining the stream to throw support to the guys. So there's 5-second gap between Banks and Drecke. And about 7 seconds between Drecke and Schooler. So the closest at the moment is Cross and Schooler. I hear a fair bit of noise going on. For sure. Yeah, there's a car off the track there. Gallant is struggling with the car at the moment. Not sure if he may be contending with some damage. I think there's a bit of a scrape on that front right. He's got Sam Tucker now coming on approach as well. We'll see if he decides to head off in the pits here. I think he's contending with damage over the course of that lap. So there'll be an extra wait in the pits for Gallant. Okay, checking for our results before we jumped over. So then we got Crossy in P6, Sam Tucker's in 7th, Dan Bartosh in 8th position. Oliver Patterson having a much better run so far. Fingers crossed I haven't jinxed him. And holding P9. It was a very nauseating incident last week. So good to see he's got all 4 wheels planted on the ground for this round. Michael Brandon in position 10. Calvin Hodgkinson in 11th. about 1.6 seconds away from Brennan up ahead. He's got a couple of seconds to the car behind. That's Mark Cochrane currently in position 12. Brennan Winrow in position 13. 17 seconds away from Cochrane. He's 6 seconds ahead of Russell Gander behind him. Russell Gander in 14th. Philip Buckland, Shane blue flag at the moment. Looks like Veacock making his way through. Like Shane Patterson's car behind him. And Patterson lap down in comparison, but he's got a lot of pace. So he actually makes the move past Buckland in P15. Gallen now back out on track after another pit. Car seems to be handling a little bit better, so he may have been really struggling with some damage to that car. Gallen currently in 16th. Because Burt, P17. Shane Patterson in 18th. Dave Jansen in 19th. I think he's just towed the car. Looks like it's just been himself. Can't see any contact going on for other cars. 20 laps in. Peacock's led for 20. It's having enough gap and leaving that pit window to the latest as possible. Seen him manage to maintain that race lead, and he's really pushed out that gap. 5.8 seconds ahead of Urquhart now. Just over 7.5 minutes remaining to the race. So you're going to see about 5 laps left to it. Nothing goes wrong for Veacock here. Maintains this pace that he's done very consistently all night. That's going to be a championship win. Cross and Schooler battling it out. Cross has got the move on Schooler. Put him off guard a little bit. That approach in the corkscrew looked a little sketchy, so he's dropped a fair bit of pace. Matt, oh no, that's why we haven't seen you. 3-month ban from iRacing. Hey Steph, thanks for jumping on the stream. So what did you manage to do to cop a 3-monther? Oh yes, the retaliatory hit. When you get stung for it as well, yes, unfortunate. Yes, definitely being in those circumstances is very frustrating, being constantly taken out in official series. This race is looking to be spectacularly clean as well. Was wonderful last week. These guys have had some fantastic clean racing. They haven't been afraid to stick that nose in whatsoever. Oh, very wide of the car behind. Not sure who that is. Yes, it is Callan. He started to be closing that gap in on Brennan a bit. So he's lost that momentum now. Just under 4 minutes to go now. We're on lap 23. Oh, should I say we've actually commenced lap 24. We're 23 laps down. Urquhart's gap dropping away now. He's keeping similar pace, but only a couple of tenths away from Veacock. So this current pace, it's not going to be enough for him to be able to really pull in and bring in 11.4 seconds unless something drastic happens for Veacock, and that can still occur. I think he's got a nice amount of clear track ahead for a while. And he doesn't need to be impatient and try and force an error from any lap track as he approaches it. Oh, Banks and Urquhart are fighting it out. Oh, going for a pass in the corkscrew. Banks nearly did it too. These guys are going to fight it out. Urquhart must have made a fair bit of mistake. He lost a few seconds. Oh, Banks sticks it in through the apex. I'm not sure if that was a nice enough line to get the speed. I think at current pace, Urquhart's going to have to play defensive if he wants to hold on to P2. Banks is absolutely flying at the moment. It looks like Urquhart starting to come to a little bit of pressure. 2 mistakes through those corners, costing him the position. Oh, a lot of speed for Banks. He narrowly brings it in. That understeer nearly taking him out of the corner. Lost some pace out of it. It's going to open opportunity for Urquhart to possibly get that position back. So there's a minute 20 left on the clock. And with Veacock on approach to the control line. Looks like Hodgkinson just ahead. He may have just recovered from a spin. I'm not sure. He was well off. Oh, and there's a big blink. This could be scary for Veacock as well. And he's staying well aside for him. Yes, this is final lap now with 50 seconds left on the clock. Urquhart dropping back now. I think he's really struggling with the car in these last few laps. Possibly pit strategy not playing out as nicely, and then starting to have to fight with the car a little bit in these final laps. But he's pretty safe for a podium because he's got a 10-second gap between himself and Jarecki. Winrow up ahead, showing blue flag. Banks needs to sneak through. Yes, mate, as hell. Definitely some good racing here. You're seeing a spectacular run. Here comes the Veacock. Ready to take the checkered flag for the final time in the Kia Optima Championship. And there it is. Our championship winner. I think he's taken a full clean run in the series. So congratulations to Cameron. I'm sure he'll be doing plenty of reverse toes and some smashing going on as drivers go across that control line. So there's no safety ratings impacted in league races. You can absolutely destroy that car. Urquhart takes podium as well. So Banks in P2, Urquhart P3, Jarecki crosses in 4th, Damon Cross 5th, Schooler 6th. There's debris and stuff going all over the track. Tucker brings it home in 7th. A much nicer run for Oliver Patterson, comes home in 8th. Bartus not too far behind in the end, he's starting to close it in. And now my contact register app, nearly every driver lit up with car contacts. I was there having fun after that finish line. Cochrane narrowly dives around. There's Veacock doing his reverse donuts. I think a lot of the drivers finish. And there, a victory donut by Veacock. What a drive. And that is all the drivers now finish. Veacock really enjoying those donuts. Hopefully he doesn't forget to jump into the stream to have a chat as well. So we'll check out those results now. And it takes its time to load up, and there we are. So the final round, the Kia Optima Championship at Laguna Seca, 26 laps done. Cameron Veacock is our winner, and that also takes him through to be the series champion as well. So another big congratulations to Cameron Veacock for an outstanding series. And also on the podium in position 2, Stephen Banks and Blake Urquhart in position 3. And the rest of the standings is Adam Jarecki, Damien Cross, Jason Schooler, Sam Tucker, Oliver Patterson, Dan Bartosh, Michael Brennan, Mike Cochrane, Callan Hodgkinson, Russell Gander, Daniel Winrow, Philip Buckland, Shane Patterson, Jonathan Gallen, Lucas Burt and Dave Jansen. And no retirements, that's great to see. And there's another car doing some donuts off in the background there. And then we've got our drivers in there. And congratulations, Cam.
Thanks, buddy.
Very good drive and great way to finish up for a championship win.
Yeah, definitely. I was pretty annoyed with myself. I managed to get a slowdown for my only incident point for the first half of the race through the corkscrew.
Oh, well. That would have been a good run otherwise.
Caught me out.
Incident free.
Yeah, but then after that I just kept knocking them up. I think coming down through the corkscrew again, I just couldn't get the right-hand side right. I kept clipping it.
Yeah, very tight line. And very hard to try and see over as well. So
yeah, definitely. It's very blind once you go across there, so you're pretty much just hoping. And at one point my wheel actually snapped the wrong way and it really hurt my right wrist, so I was battling for the last half of the race with a dodgy wrist.
Ah, no.
Nah, it is what it is. You push on, don't you?
Yeah, it is, and it didn't really slow you down either. You started pushing out the gap more, so...
Yeah, I think Blake may have had an underfueled, or I'm not sure what was going on, because I started creeping out away on him. He was holding me there for the first half of the race, but then I'm not sure what happened in the back half.
Yeah, he did start to drop off a fair bit in those last few laps, so it may have been a fuel issue. We do have him in here as well. Yes, congrats Blake on the podium.
Yeah, thanks mate. It's, good to be up here again. No, it was a good race. I didn't underfuel. It was one lap short, but I only had the fuel safe about, I don't know, not even half a lap, but the last part stages, you probably see me dropping off, my foot wet numb, so I lost a lot of feeling in my foot, so yeah, I lost a lot of pace, but no excuse there, but I tried to give Banksy a run for his money, but that didn't happen.
Not
so.
a good time to have a bit of a numb foot when you got Banks there probing your mirrors.
Oh no. So that's why I was like at the end, I just crashed it into the fence. I was like, I'm so glad that I could just let off the brake, like it was because it was where my brake was, so left foot. So a bit of a how you going, but no. For the last series, for the last round of the series, third place, and hopefully come back to the Ferrari and see how we go in that.
Yeah, definitely. Good to see the wheel hold out as well.
Yeah, no, it did stop gear shifting downshift, but it started working again. So, yeah, I don't know, a bit weird, but yeah, it held it out for this race.
Yeah, very good. And congrats, Stephen.
Yeah, cheers,
P2. Showing that you don't go easy on teammates.
No, he was struggling with something, and it was a fair bit of, I felt like he was obviously had something going on, some issue, so I wasn't going to take it easy on him. I was going to try and be nice and not touch him or run him off the track, but yeah, you have more fun when you race hard anyway.
That's it. Yeah, it was a good
little
little fight. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it makes us better at the end of the day, so it was good fun, good battle there, and yeah, it was a shocker off the start. I didn't get to try any of that stuff Cam said last week.
Yeah, I was hoping to possibly see an entire grid, just all get a fantastic launch and make things interesting down at the hairpin for the start of the race.
I was waiting for it, and then all of a sudden when I drove away, I'm like, oh no, what have they done?
They're all still back there.
Yeah, I think I dropped back to about 6 after all that. So, yeah, no, just not a week to get practice in. So, good result in the end. So, happy with that.
Yeah, well done. Well, no practice. It seems to be the thing. We see more podium finishers not getting any practice in. So, maybe we need a bit of less practice.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, put that practice session up in the afternoon. I usually get in 10 or so laps, maybe 20 laps if I can. And that usually dials it in. But yeah, I should have spent those 10 laps practicing the start probably.
Yeah, just assigning that secondary brake button.
Yeah, I've got to. I've just figured I've got to change channel on my steering wheel, so it wasn't recognising it. So anyway, we'll work it out.
Yeah, that's it. I'll be jumping in and definitely trying it out and seeing what else it works on as well.
Yeah,
it works on a lot of cars, I'm telling you.
Yeah, wonderful.
And just make sure you set it. Another good hint is if you want to fuel save, if you've got dual clutches, set one of your right hand side to your clutch or one of your clutches to your actual clutch.
Oh, yeah.
You can pull it coming down the main straight and just coast.
Yeah, I see them do that. And yeah, that makes it a lot easier.
It does. So having to use the foot clutch, so then you're ready for the brake.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Pull it on.
I was doing that the whole probably turn 1. That's the only spot I was fuel saving because of the straight.
Yeah, enough momentum for that one. It's a good spot for it.
Yeah.
I was just short shifting.
No, I wasn't.
Not even revving out to like the third light. I was coming about probably changing around the second or third light.
Yeah. No, I was just coasting it. Push the
button
in.
As hard as I could. No, well done, Cam. You're way too quick.
Yeah, good win again, Cam, mate.
Solid series,
Thanks,
good
boys.
drive all the way, and even just to all drivers in this round, it looked like another fantastic, good, clean race. Looked good momentum. So.
Yeah, look, it was definitely a lot of fun. The series, different car that I haven't driven before. And I'm sure the other boys are used to massively overpowered rear-wheel drive V8s.
Oh,
yes.
And trying to drive this is a complete change of ability, or not ability, I guess, momentum and everything, just a whole lot.
Yeah.
Your whole mindset.
It's everything you knew, just throw it out the window, and then good luck with a big understeering monster. It was good to see.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, the only thing I found that helped, and I'm not sure whether the other boys had the thing is going up a gear. So if you're going through a corner that you needed to get out of the corner, just jam it up a gear. Car had plenty of torque and it wasn't going to wheel spin.
Yeah.
If you try taking it in that lower gear, the thing just wanted to understeer and you would never get anything back.
Yeah, it was felt like you're nearly in third, fourth gear the whole time that race.
Yeah, that's what it was a lot of.
I actually found that track probably more difficult than last week, believe it or not.
Yeah,
more space, but yeah, the corner's a lot more trickier with this car.
more technical. Like, I struggled at Okayama, but here seemed to be okay. So I'm not sure what I was doing at Okayama to really have a bad time.
Yeah,
But-
it's funny.
Yeah, no, it was good. I'm happy we're racing with the boys, and hopefully the Ferrari series is good.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
be
looking forward to that.
some very tight stuff. Those cars enjoy being thrashed, so we're going to be seeing some fantastic racing going on with those.
I'm disappointed I can't get my Porsche again, but you know, I'll take a Ferrari.
You just have to weaponize the Ferrari instead of your Porsche.
Ah, look, I'll see how I go. I'm not used to driving the Porsche. I'm used to driving the rear engine thing, so we'll see how we go.
Hopefully there'll be some good battles.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely up for it and happy for it.
Yeah, I think it'll be
Surely,
a good fight as usual between everyone.
yeah, but hopefully it'll be
Looking forward
like, hopefully it was like round 1 and 2 with me and Cam.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely keen for it.
Yeah, get
Let's
some-
go, mate.
Get some elbows out in those Ferraris. And it'll be a good one
That's
for
it.
it too at Barcelona as well.
Nah, they're good. They're good. Them cars, you got to push them to the max to get them to drive. So,
Yeah, they don't like driving easy.
nah, that's it.
Yeah, well done, guys. Thanks again, and good luck with round 1. We've still got a week's break in between as well, so plenty of practice ready for that round 1.
Beautiful.
Watch
Yeah,
out.
thanks, JP.
Congrats,
Thanks,
guys.
JP.
Thanks for a
Thanks,
great
JP.
series.
No
Thanks,
worries.
boys, for the racing, and on to the next one.
And there we have our podium finishes with Cameron Veacock taking out the championship with a win in the final round at Laguna Seca. Stephen Banks on the podium in position 2 and Blake Urquhart in position 3. And then we do take a 1 week break before we jump into the next series. So we're back to a full 5 rounds, and then we head to Barcelona, Nürburgring, Fuji, Red Bull Ring, and over to Imola as well to wrap it up. So a very Ferrari-worthy track to finish up that series. And then we do change time zone in between that gap as well, with daylight savings kicking in this weekend. So when you are setting your reminders for the stream, we will be coming in at Australian Eastern Daylight Time, so that will be going live at 7:35 AEDT. So we do have the live notifications. If you are a follower and have those turned on, you will be notified when we hit that start streaming button, so then you can jump on in and get ready to catch that racing. It's not going to be a series you want to miss at all. And then we do have our final round this Thursday night as well for Project Cars 2 in the Mustang, so don't miss that, because that's at Road America and will be some more fantastic racing. And thanks again once again for joining us for the stream, and do hope to see you again in a couple of weeks for the opening round of the Ferraris, and even this Thursday night on Project Cars. So thanks for tuning in, and see you trackside next time.